Rome, the eternal city, glittering at the height of its power. But within its marble walls, a darkness was growing, a darkness not of invading armies, but of the blood ties between brothers. This is the story of Publius Septimius Geta, a Roman emperor whose name was erased from history by the hand he trusted most, his brother Caracalla. Geta was born in 189 AD into the powerful Septimius family. He was the younger son of Septimius Severus, a shrewd and ambitious North African Roman statesman, and his sophisticated Syrian wife Julia Domna. Geta grew up in the shadow of his older, more volatile brother Basanius, a boy history would come to know as Caracalla. In 197 AD, Severus defeated his rivals and became the undisputed emperor of Rome. He immediately set about securing his dynasty. To give his sons experience, he took them on military campaigns. Geta, though young, proved himself capable and was given the prestigious title of Caesar at just 9 years old, marking him as a future ruler of the world. But the seeds of discord were sown early. The two brothers, thrown together in the gilded cage of the imperial court, were polar opposites. Caracalla was brash, aggressive, and preferred the company of soldiers. Geta was studious, loved Greek art and literature, and was beloved by the people of Rome for his calm and just nature. Their mother, Julia Domna, watched their growing rivalry with a heavy heart. To unite his feuding sons and prepare them for the immense burden of ruling an empire, Severus took them on a major military campaign to conquer Caledonia, modern-day Scotland. The harsh, misty wilderness of the north was meant to forge them into a team. Instead, it only intensified their hatred. They lived in separate tents and refused to eat together. In early 211 AD, on the cold, damp frontier of Britain, the unthinkable happened. Septimius Severus, the man who had held the empire and his sons together, grew ill and died in Eboracum, modern-day York. With his last breath, he is said to have given his sons a simple, powerful piece of advice: be harmonious with each other, enrich the soldiers, and scorn all other men. It was a plea they would immediately ignore. With their father dead, Geta and Caracalla were now co-emperors, the first time Rome had been ruled by two brothers. They immediately abandoned the campaign in Scotland and rushed back to the true seat of power, Rome. The tense truce was over. The battle for the soul of the empire had begun. Back in Rome, the empire was split in two. The brothers divided the imperial palace into two separate quarters, sealing off passages to avoid each other. They created rival courts, rival administrations, and even considered splitting the empire geographically, Caracalla taking the west, Geta the east. Only the desperate pleas of their mother, Julia Domna, prevented the complete dismemberment of the Roman world. Geta was the people's prince. He was popular with the Senate and the Roman populace. He represented stability and tradition. Caracalla, watching his brother's popularity grow, became consumed by a paranoid rage. He knew that as long as Geta lived, his own power was not absolute. He began to plot. He could not share an empire, only rule it. Caracalla's hatred consumed him. He tried and failed to have Geta assassinated during the festival of Saturnalia. The failed attempt only deepened the paranoia. Both brothers now went everywhere with a personal bodyguard of hundreds of men. The city was a tinderbox waiting for a single spark. Realizing he couldn't kill Geta in public, Caracalla resorted to treachery. He crafted a plan so deceitful it would stain his name for eternity. He sent a message to his mother, Julia Domna, begging her to broker a peace between the brothers. He asked her to arrange a private meeting in her quarters, a place where they could reconcile without their guards. It was a trap. On December 26, 211 AD, Geta, hopeful for a genuine reconciliation, arrived at his mother's apartment in the palace. He set aside his suspicions and entered the room unarmed, with only his mother present. Julia Domna embraced him, overjoyed at the prospect of her sons finally making peace. But the door was about to burst open. Suddenly, the doors crashed open. Caracalla burst in, not alone, but with a group of loyal centurions. For a split second, Geta saw the murderous intent in his brother's eyes. Julia Domna screamed and tried to shield her son, but it was too late. As she held him, the centurions fell upon Geta, cutting him down with their swords. He died in his mother's arms, his blood staining her clothes. Geta was dead at just 22 years old. Caracalla, the murderer, now stood alone as the sole emperor of Rome. But his paranoia did not end with his brother's death. He rushed from the room, claiming he had barely escaped an assassination attempt by his own brother, and fled to the Praetorian Guard camp, seeking their protection with a promise of a massive pay raise. Caracalla's next act was one of the most vicious examples of damnatio-memoriae in Roman history. He wanted to erase Geta from existence. Geta's statues were torn down and melted. His name was chiseled off every inscription. His face was removed from family portraits. Anyone who had been loyal to him or even mourned him publicly was executed. The final agonizing detail of this tragedy belongs to their mother, Julia Domna. Forced to live alongside her son's murderer, she was consumed by grief. It is said she could not bear to look at Caracalla or hear his voice. Eventually, she starved herself to death, a final silent protest against the monster she had raised and the beloved son she had lost. Publius Septimius Geta lived only 22 years. He was a man who, had he lived, might have given Rome a very different future. Instead, he became a ghost, his face erased from history by the hand of his own brother. He was not killed by an enemy of Rome, but by the ambition and hatred of his own flesh and blood. The murder of Geta serves as a timeless reminder that the thirst for absolute power can poison even the most sacred of bonds. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this descent into Roman history, please like and subscribe for more stories from the Eternal City.